What's going on, YouTube? Always driven here. Just taking the daily drive from the airport, dropping some people off, doing ride share. I wanted to discuss with you guys today about what the channel is going to be like and what's going to be posted, and a little bit of background about myself and how I come to own my first WRX. So without further ado, my name is Dominique Rodriguez. I am a retired Marine, 15 years, and always been into cars ever since the mid-90s. I've always been into cars. Not always the manual transmission. Sometimes it was the luxuries. Sometimes it was you know, other types of cars that piqued my interest. But I was always genuinely into cars and always loved being around them. So I figured over the last year or so, why not try to develop a channel that revolves around vehicles, because I do, and I always have loved cars. That's never been, you know, something that a passion that I've never waned from, although I've had different careers throughout the years. So this is what I've been doing now. So I've had this car for about 8-9 months. I've put quite a bit of miles on it. I honestly think I have driven this car more than the average person who owns a car drives their car, just due to the fact that I work in DC, which is about 4 hours from here, and I have to show up once a week. So you can only imagine the amount of miles I've put on this car, and you know, the amount of wear and tear I've put on the car. So I'm pretty familiar with the platform at this point, as I've put in about 20,000 miles on the vehicle. Before this car, I've had an SI, a few other cars too, but mainly wanted to discuss the transition because I also saw something on the internet that was baffling to me yesterday night when I was looking around, you know, not necessarily car shopping, but looking around at the market and seeing what was offered. I had a 2020 SI 10th gen Civic, very fun, nothing wrong with the car really. I mean, at least in my particular car, had a emergency system issue that it'll just pop on randomly, and that could be rather dangerous, as you well know, because the car stopping randomly just isn't that you know, isn't that good. It shouldn't stop, you know, randomly, especially if you're on the highway and everything like that. You don't want to cause an accident by your emergency system thinking that you're about to hit someone when you're really not. So in my experience, I had to cut all the emergency systems off in order for me to drive safely, which was kind of backwards. So I didn't want to do that. But other than that, the driving about the SI was very fun. I had no complaints about it. You know, it did what it needed to do. Very fun in the city. Getting 40 miles a gallon is not too shabby either, especially with the traveling I was doing. But man, I guess for some reason I just wanted something with a little bit more power. I mean, I'm sure I could have tuned it to do what I wanted to do, but I didn't really want to go through much doing that, too much doing that stuff. So I figured, you know, all right, let me find something with more power. And I was getting good offers for the Civic, so you know, I was open to a change. And you know, the Subaru wasn't my first car choice. It was actually an alternate. I was looking at a Audi S4 2018, I believe, and it was all decked out, red seats. I mean, I'm talking about the works, man. And that thing looked really nice. Had a 6-speed manual transmission. I test drove it a few times, so it had the power I needed, and I was ready to buy it. I had the check in my hand and everything, and I was hoping that I could get the dealer to budge on the price, but that seemed to not be the case. So, you know, since he didn't budge on the price, I wasn't that upset. I mean, I'm sure he could have sold that car at the price he had it. I just was trying to get him to come down a few thousand, you know, haggling or whatever, you know, basic car buying stuff. So I was like, okay, fine. If I can't get that, I'll look for another one similar, maybe with lower miles. And I couldn't find one. I didn't have much luck. So I went to a dealership around the corner from where I live and found, you know, a few cars over there that I liked that he let me test drive. It was a BMW M6. I think it was a Focus ST there, and they were all manual transmission, and this car, the Subaru. And I test drove all three, and I liked the M6, but it didn't have the gas mileage I was looking for, and this was going to be my daily driver, so I didn't want it. It would have been nice for that to have been a second car, but not the only car that I'm using to travel with. So I couldn't, buying that car wouldn't be reasonable for me as far as what I was trying to do. And then, you know, I loved all the cars, and he was like, okay, so what are you trying to look for? So I said, look, man, I just need something that's fun to drive, you know, but with a little bit more power than my Civic Si. And lo and behold, I came up to a Subaru. You know, he said, you should try this car. You know, you get good gas mileage. It's fun to drive, and the aftermarket community was huge. And I didn't know this because, I mean, I knew about Subaru and everything like that. I just didn't know the nuances of, you know, when you're actually in the community and learning about the car and everything like that. So, you know, I was still kind of skeptical. So I waited a few days, and I said, you know what, it's either drive this Civic or this Subaru. And I said, you know what, I never had a Subaru before, let me give it a shot. And it had me thinking back to Bunta on Initial D. So, you know, he had an Impreza and everything. I said, you know what, let me give the WRX a shot. Why not? So I did that, and here I am, you know, 20,000 miles later with this car. So far, I love it. I do have a couple of more plans with it. I'm currently at stage 1. I don't think I'm gonna do anything after stage 1 as far as power. Maybe an exhaust. Well, not maybe, I most likely will get an exhaust, but everything else is probably gonna be cosmetics or aesthetics, more or less, for the looks of the car. And, you know, wing and front lip, and the lights. As you know, if you own a WRX, the lights are not good. The headlights aren't good at all, especially at night. They're really, really bad. So they definitely got to get replaced. Maybe I'm just used to LEDs, but boy, those lights are not good. Those halogen lights are not good at all. But overall, though, other than those changes, I love the car. I love driving it. It's very fun. You could take it on pretty much anywhere, and it's fun to drive. City, it's fun. Highway, you know, you always get those guys that want to race mainly the Hellcat, the Hell Kitty guys, or the 3 Series BMW guys that'll try to come up and want to do, you know, little races, which is all fun. I just wish that the pedestrians, well, I wouldn't say pedestrians, but the other guys that are driving in the traffic, man, if you see somebody try to do a little pull, just get out the way. Maybe that's just being too cocky, or not necessarily cocky, but too rude to ask. But I mean, if you see that this guy's coming up on me and he wants to kind of do a pull or something, just make some room. We're not trying to hurt nobody out here, you know. We're just trying to have a little bit of fun. So I think overall, I'm gonna have a lot of fun with this car. I do have other cars that I plan on getting in the near future. Well, one more, just because I'm putting a crap load of miles on this car. So I'm gonna try to make this a full track car eventually. So I'll definitely keep you guys posted. But with that being said, guys, that's all I have. Please leave a comment, like, subscribe, and please give me suggestions on, you know, how the video quality is and stuff like that. This is my first video, so I want to you know, make it better and more professional. I will be getting more GoPros soon, just to try to make it a little bit better. But thank you guys. Please comment and like, and see you later.